Hello, it is me, and you have no idea who I am. But I will make you know who I am. Through very violent acts. I'm just joking, that's just a kid. But today I want to talk about fat acceptance. I've seen quite a lot of fat acceptance, and people gripping into it and seeing how it's dumb. And I mean, I have to say I agree. I think fat acceptance is a stupid thing. And if you don't want to take it from some skinny guy, well, I'm not skinny to say the very least. Of course, I'm not as fat as the people in these TikToks, but, I'm not exactly underweight. Oh, just normal weight. I would consider myself overweight, and I'm much heavier and well, not much bigger, but bigger than the average person. I think I'll throw a few reference photos in there. Of course, with my face blurred out, because I don't even know if I'm going to reveal my face. Face reveal at 1 mil dough. So, without further ado, I did watch some of these beforehand, so let's start. Sorry.
No problem. First, find a comfortable seated position. Feet together, knees apart is my favorite in Baddha Konasana. Second, we can bring the belly between the legs, creating more space through the hip joint. Third, we can sit on a bolster. This creates more space, so if we like, we can cross our legs. I prefer Baddha Konasana myself, so sometimes I'll bring blocks beneath the knees to help support the legs, especially if I'm feeling pulling in the inner line of the leg. If I want to sit in a wide-legged position, I'll bring the blocks beneath the thighs to keep my knees from hyperextending. Also, in twists, we have the option of bringing the belly onto the leg to create more space so we can come deeper into the twist.
After being...
Okay, so I just let that full one play out, because I only have one thing to say here. If you're that big to have to go through all of that steps, put blocks under your legs, and put your stomach fat onto your legs so you can twist, and all the other things she did, just so you can sit in a comfortable way, I don't think that is really healthy. You see something with the fat acceptance saying that it's healthy. It's not healthy, and it's not practical. One thing I really hate about the Fat Acceptance Act is the fact that people want us to accept them and make society geared towards fat people, because that's not normal. If you're that big, you need to start losing weight. People around you will tell you, but the fat acceptance are just people who don't want told that they're perfect the way they are. And yeah, I think it's kind of ridiculous. I don't really think it's the people's fault, but I really think it's really your fault if you're spreading the message that you should be as big as possible. And later on of what we'll see, that fat is actually better than good, not fat.
So this is a really great opportunity to talk about exactly why we need fat acceptance.
I think this lady's dumb as well.
I totally understand this viewpoint because, fuck everybody else.
Yeah.
But we do need fat acceptance.
And I am here to tell you that we don't. Fat acceptance is stupid. You cannot be fat phobic. You can be homophobic, you can be a racist, but you cannot be fat phobic.
We need fat acceptance so that when fat people go to the doctor, they actually get treated for what
they are, though. I don't really understand the point she's trying to make here. Fat people are, yeah, sure, sometimes they don't get diagnosed correctly, but, being obese doesn't really help the medical problems you already have.
What's wrong with them? We need fat acceptance.
And I'm not even sure if that's that big of an issue.
So that fat people are promoted and paid just as much as their thin counterparts.
Okay, now she's just making stuff up. I'm pretty sure fat people all pay just as much as their thin counterparts.
We need fat acceptance so that fat people, especially super fat and thin fat people, have access to clothing.
If you don't have access to clothing, have you ever thought that you're too big?
Really easy to just think about our experience in this world.
Yeah, it must be awful.
And
but not because of the way people treat you, because of how big you are.
Pretty pissed about it. But I believe there's a better world. And I think it all starts with fat acceptance.
Nothing
Love you,
starts
bye.
with fat acceptance.
I've talked about this.
Now, this is the video I want to talk about most, because she just spits lies and she spits stuff to try and avoid the actual question.
My name is Mara. My pronouns are they, them, and this comment.
They, them? Are you actually getting offended by they, them?
Factually incorrect.
Regardless, still obesity and still shouldn't be glorifying death before 50. It's not factually incorrect, that's actually factually correct, because there are plenty of fat people that can die before 50 because of their weight. I remember this one story of how, like a 30, I don't remember her age, but she was so big that ambulance couldn't figure out a way to take her out, and it was like a simple heart attack that they could have helped easily, but because she was so big, she ended up dying. So think about that.
Fat phobia by using one thing. Our health.
Your health and the fact that you're trying to promote such an unhealthy lifestyle. It's like the carnivores, like the carnivore diet. Those people are dumb. But there's a lot of people who's got misinformation from the internet anyways.
They're just
From
worried
people
about
like this.
Our health. Because we're going to die. Apparently before the age of 50.
Sometimes before the age of 50.
So assuming that life expectancy wasn't really an issue, what would they have left to justify their hate?
The fact that you want to change society to, have bigger people and, like, have airplane seats be bigger. And have other things fit for fat people. Not wanting to change your lifestyle, but wanting everyone else around you to change their lifestyle. That's stupid, and if you think that way, you are self-centered and entitled. People are not gonna stop everything they do just to bow down to you and have things change just for you. The more population of the skinny, or more population are below 400 pounds than there are above 400 pounds. Things are designed for the average human. What? And the average human weight is 180 to 200 pounds, I believe.
So I'm sure that we're all aware that lots of things can affect life expectancy.
Including obesity.
For example, short people don't live as long as tall people.
I actually forgot to look that one up. That's a lie. Usually short people do live longer than fat people. Sorry about that.
People who have a longer commute don't live as long as people who work from home. People
Alright,
who
I'm not gonna
own
look at that.
dogs live longer than people who... The assumption is that even though there are a lot of controllable factors that can influence one's life expectancy and health, fatness is a big one.
Yeah. Yes,
has
it is.
such a large effect that it specifically needs to be addressed.
Okay, that's not the problem. If you're so fat and you don't want to change anything about it, who cares? I mean, I care, but it's not my life. Do whatever you want. The problem is the fat acceptance movement is trying to make other people think that lifestyle is healthy and have people change things just because of their overweight counterparts. People who believe in this fat movement just need their body reassured. And a lot of people don't believe in this fat acceptance movement for reasonable reasons.
So let's get the base numbers out of the way. Average life expectancy in the U.S. today is about 79 to 83 years old.
I'm assuming that's true.
I'm going to use medical slurs here because...
Nope, no slurs, she's saying.
Statistics.
She's not using any slurs.
Obese people...
Okay, I want to talk about this. Obese is not a slur. Fat could be considered a slur to fat people. It's offensive to fat people, maybe. But if you walk to an elderly person and say, "Oh, you're all pretty elderly," do you really think they're gonna be, "Oh my God, you're a hateful young man"? No. So calling an obese person obese is just like calling an elderly person elderly. It's not really offensive because it's common sense.
So people like me, live to about 78
No, people not like you. You're too big.
years
Sorry.
old. People who are in the overweight category live to about 82 years old.
Which is wrong. Yes. She's too big for this, though. I'm not sure how big she actually is, but my research science can actually support the fact if you have some body weight and if you have like some gut, it can actually help you live longer from some science stuff. But I don't think she's describing that, and I don't think she's actually researching it.
And thin
as well.
people live to about 81 years old.
Oh my god, wow, using so much common sense against me. Are you not doing your research? You know, did you not look the fact up of how long obese people can live for? Because I got an answer is that they can, being obese can take at least 5 years off of your life. Yeah, and it's like 5 to 20, but even maybe higher sometimes.
That's only about 4 years, folks.
No, 5 at least. You're wrong. That's just factually wrong.
My question is, if you're truly just concerned about people's health, why are you not addressing actual real health concerns?
You mean like diabetes and heart attack? Those are not things fat people get. I'm sorry. I did not know that. My bad.
Emotional strain or chronic stress shortens life by about 3 years.
That's true. It's 2.8 though.
Not only that, it can trigger things like diabetes, because diabetes is a trauma-related issue.
Can be a trauma-related issue. Mainly is a trauma-related issue, but can also not be a trauma-related issue.
High blood pressure, heart attack, stroke.
And if you're obese, you are much more likely to get these things. That's why being obese is not healthy. This lady's just rambling nonsense. She's trying to use another disease to make you forget about the fact that being obese is just as bad. She's spitting nonsense. Yeah, people with chronic depression or chronic loneliness, I'm not sure if she has mentioned that yet, can have a shorter life expectancy. For sure. But she's trying to avoid the fact that fatness and obesity can do the exact same thing.
Are fat people under chronic stress?
No.
I think so.
Oh my god, I'm so under chronic stress because society doesn't accept me. Get over yourself. Oh my god. I really hate people who whine about things, who whine about, not being accepted on the internet. Like, wow, I reposted this thing and, people are too big to fit into airplane seats thinking they should be bigger. That's just ridiculous. People are not gonna change anything to you. And don't care what people think. You're older than me, but I get the message more than you. I'm not even sure what you're trying to spit here.
Then let's also talk about the fact that fat phobia and fat shaming can cause chronic loneliness, which can...
No. Not really. Fat phobia is not a thing. People are just worried about you and not liking the fact that you're spreading misinformation on the internet and the fact that you think it's healthy. People like you are the reason that fat acceptance is as big as a movement as it is, because fat people and normal people believe what they see on the internet, which is kind of sad, and don't even double check things. You know the research I've been doing to make this woman wrong, prove the woman wrong? I just did a few Google searches and it took about like 10 minutes.
Shorten life expectancy about as much as
I love the cut though.
smoking.
Yes, it can. It's but that is about as big as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So I'm not sure how many 15 cigarettes a day, but what does that have to do with fat phobia? You're not getting a chronic loneliness. You're not lonely. People just don't like the fact that you're spreading misinformation, and people don't like the fat movement. Sure, if people are just out there making fun of you, that's not really fat phobia, that's just people being mean.
A difficult childhood
I love how she had to put in quotes a difficult childhood.
reduces lifespan by about 20 years.
Okay, I hate how she's just using the first thing she sees and not actually doing any research. It's actually getting annoying now. Yes, the ACEs or the ACEs takes in scores, but they take in certain events of your childhood. And when you can get your life shortened about 20 years, and that takes 6 ACEs. And you can heal from childhood trauma, like you can heal from being obese. I don't understand what she's trying to say here.
This is referencing ACEs scores such as child abuse, child
Yes.
neglect, things like that.
Yeah, but that's the max.
If you're concerned with health or life expectancy, treating people well is the best thing you can do.
Yes, and she's not young, though. Treating people well is the best thing you can do, because you never know what a person's going through. But, like I keep saying, I don't understand. Fat phobia is not a thing. I don't really understand what's trying to be said here.
Obese is a slur, at least one person will always pop their head out of the ground to say, obese is a medical term, as if that somehow makes it better. You know what else used to be a medical term? Like a lot of bad shit we don't say anymore.
Okay, so what I really hate about this TikTok is the fact that we're comparing someone using obese, calling you obese, to things that were sexist and racist. I think that's completely ridiculous. Being a racist and sexist and things like that is nothing close to you being fat and somebody calling you obese. Would you rather them call you fat?
Because we realized it was stigmatizing as fuck and it actively harmed people. You can Google them, I'm not gonna say them here.
True, but calling a person obese doesn't harm anybody. People in the fat acceptance don't see that.
Science and language are both constantly evolving and updating. The medical establishment is not exempt from this.
Okay, so what's hilarious here is that she kind of contradicts herself by saying this. She kind of proves herself wrong in the future. You'll see what I mean.
It's actually a particularly strong example of how this happens. We don't need to look too far back into history at all to see how medical terminology and practices change. For example, homosexuality is no longer diagnosed as a mental illness.
Yes, but as you once said, literally once said, we didn't know as much back then. Humans feel what they can't control.
Male hysteria is not something
She said that wrong. It's mass hysteria.
that's diagnosed anymore.
Yes, but she literally proved herself wrong by saying, well, medical terminology is constantly evolving. Yes, humans are figuring out just because things are different from us. That doesn't mean we have to cancel them out. Anyways, fat acceptance is nowhere near that. You being fat and some guy calling you obese, that's nothing close to it. Would you rather hear some guy say, oh, you're pretty obese, or say, oh, wow, you're pretty fat? I would choose my answer, or just, oh, you're pretty fat. I think obese is a nice term for it, and it is kind of just medical terminology. I don't really understand the point trying to be made here, because, well, she's an idiot, and she's just wrong. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you didn't, well, why did you watch the entire thing? And leave a comment down below. I would really appreciate it. Do you agree with me on everything? Probably, hopefully not. Psych, I hope you do agree, and enjoy the rest of your day.